This is Twit.
And we are so glad to have our sponsor with us, the wonderful folks at Thinkst Canary. Thinkst Canaries. We've talked about these so many times. I'll give you a quick recap if you're new here. They're honeypots. Honeypots, notoriously difficult to write. But the idea is you put something on your network that's very attractive to hackers. And you might say, well, why would a hacker be in my network? Well, that's the question, isn't it? You know, I think a lot of times we assume we've got such great perimeter defenses. There's no way a bad guy could get in, except I think anybody paying attention, if you've just listened to the show a little bit, you know that breaches are happening with increased frequency all the time now. And that means somebody's got into your network. And the real issue, in my opinion, and I don't think I'm alone in this, is how do you know? Because these bad guys are often very good at covering their tracks. That's one of the real skills of being a hacker is you delete logs, you hide any, record of their presence. So how would you know if somebody's in your network? As stats say, most people don't. On average, a company will not know that they've been breached for 91 days. That's a problem because that means that's 3 months a bad guy has to go through your stuff, exfiltrate information they could use to blackmail you or your customers, huge potential for reputation damage, plant little time bomb ransomwares that could go off. I mean, they could do all sorts of damage. You need to know the minute somebody's in your network. That's why you need a Thinkst Canary. It's a honeypot that is, designed by people who've been doing this for years. They are experts in breaching networks. They've been teaching private industry and government how to do it for years. They're super smart. They've written something that is highly secure because you don't want to put something in your network that's not. So it is absolutely rock solid. That one of the things they do that I like, and I asked them about this when I saw them at RSAC a couple of weeks ago, they're always pushing out updates. They're always adding features, but also fixing bugs, making sure that your Thinkst Canary is solid as a rock. So you can put it on your network with confidence. It's a honeypot, very easy to deploy. You plug it in. I've got mine right here. It has two connectors on it, a USB connector for power, and it's got a network connection. It actually just looks like an external hard drive, right? Just a black box. Nobody will really notice. It looks like one of many devices hooked into your network. But the cool thing about this is it can impersonate almost anything. So you go into the console, your Thinkst Canary console, and you'll choose the personality you're going to apply to this canary. Mine has been for a long time a Synology NAS, but it could be a SharePoint server, a Windows server, a Linux server. You can turn on any ports you want. You could light it up like a Christmas tree, give it every possible service, or just have a few select ones, like Windows file sharing. You can, it could be a SCADA device. It could be an SSH server. It also, this is really neat, can create files that phone home. These files can be really anything. A WireGuard configuration. Oh, by the way, hackers love that because then that means they can get in other networks that are theoretically secured, right? It could be a spreadsheet. I have a few spreadsheets. You can put them on your local drive, but even on your cloud drive. So I have a few spreadsheets that say things like payroll information, something a bad guy cannot help but open. The thing is, the minute the intruder, whether it's an outside hacker or a malicious insider, tries to open this fake SSH server or tries to access that spreadsheet that says payroll information, your Thinkst Canary will immediately tell you, there's somebody in the network. You got a problem. No false alerts, just the alerts that matter. And in any way you want, by the way, text message, SMS, but webhooks, Slack, syslog, of course, it could be email, any way you want. They're very flexible. They even have an API so you could write your own tool if you want. This is so cool. Choose a profile for your Thinkst Canary device. You register with a hosted console. That's how it gets the monitoring. That's how it generates the notifications. And then you just wait. You just wait. You sit back and relax. An adversary cannot help but make themselves known by accessing your Thinkst Canary. Now, let me tell you, a big bank might have hundreds of these. You certainly should have one for every network segment. I think all the nooks and crannies on your network, right? And let's not forget, you can put it on cloud devices too. Visit canary.tools/twit Let's say you want 5 of them. Okay, that's $7,500 a year. You get the 5 Thinkst Canaries. You get your own hosted console. You get upgrade support. You get maintenance. Oh, and if you use the code TWIT in the How Did You Hear About Us box, you get 10% off the price. And not just for the first year, forever, for as long as you have your Thinkst Canaries. You also should be reassured because you can always return your Thinkst Canaries. They have a very generous 2-month money-back guarantee for a full refund. I should point out, though, that they've been advertising with us this month. It's their 10th year advertising with us, 10 years. And during all that time, that full refund has never been claimed. Not once. Visit canary.tools/twit. Enter the code TWIT in the How Did You Hear About Us box. 10% off for life. Canary.tools/twit. Use the offer code TWIT. And we thank them so much for 10 years of support for what Steve's been doing here at Security Now. That is, I think, probably our longest standing sponsor. Just
monitoring your network is, it's one thing to secure it, but you need to also keep an eye on what comes through the door.
You need to know. Yeah.
Yeah.